Welcome to Bronze and Modern Gods. I'm John.
I'm Richard.
Welcome, like I said, welcome. Bienvenidos. Hey, Richard, how are you?
I'm doing good, John. How are you doing?
I'm good. Just a reminder to all of you guys, thanks for joining us, and please follow us at Facebook and Instagram at Bronze and Modern Gods. Visit the website at bronzeandmoderngods.com. Hit like, hit subscribe. I want to ask every single one of you this week, if you really like the show, tell a friend. You are our best marketing. Word of mouth is the way to go.
You're our only marketing, actually.
Right, exactly. We're not spending money. Are you kidding?
Oh.
Hey, we've got a lot to cover today. Our main topic, comic book variants. Are they worth it at this point? What's going on there? We also have our underrated books of the week. But first, and the 25-year rule back again for more. But first, our hot book of the week is this thing. You knew we were going to cover it. You knew we were.
Yeah. Ultimate Fallout 4 Facsimile.
Hold on. Let's just look at it. Let's just look in the middle of the screen there. Look at it. What do you... Oh, Richard. A fool in his money.
I bought it.
I know. That's why I'm saying it.
I bought it.
All right, let's hear it. What is it?
It's the Ultimate Fallout 4 Facsimile, the C2E2 Black Flag Acetate Edition.
Why don't you tell everybody what this beauty is?
Okay, so Clayton Crane, who did the original cover for Ultimate Fallout 4, has this variant. Basically, he took his variant, which was already offered, and he added an acetate cover, basically a clear plastic cover that has some extra print on the cover that overlays on top of the existing Ultimate Fallout 4 facsimile cover. They limited it to 750 copies, and it was available at the Black Flag booth at C2E2. And
now, hold on, before we get into all that, let's just talk about the cover, the art. What is the meaning of this? Why is he holding a folded flag and says USA? I do not get it. Explain.
I wish I could. It seems to be an issue celebrating or recognizing veterans.
So a portion of the proceeds went to veterans, homeless initiatives, and to help veterans, correct?
Oh, no. As far as I know, it's not the case.
Oh, so it's pandering to veterans.
Apparently, yes.
This is, I'm being a jerk purposefully because I'm a veteran.
You know what? I hate to speak because I do not know specifically how the proceeds of this book are divided or sent out. The owner of Black Flag apparently posted an explanation to his Facebook page, and according to the CGC forums, I went to try to find that, and it's gone. So he's removed.
So he's already removed his apology video. Got it.
Yes.
All right. So this thing sold for $75, right?
75, yes.
And you paid what for yours?
I paid $220 for mine.
It's right now on eBay selling for around $260. At some point there was best offers taken under $300 that we saw. It's cooling down a bit, but questionable artistic choices aside, selling this 750 thing aside, I want to talk about CGC's role in this, because this thing is already getting slabbed. I guess they sold pre-sales of pre-slabs of this thing. Some of them are graded at 10 points. Some are 9.9s already. How in the living hell could this book, with 2 additional staples added, not by the manufacturer, but by the retailer, because they actually literally took copies of Ultimate Fallout 4 Facsimile Edition that came out last year and stapled a new acetate cover to it, thereby marrying a new cover to an existing book. And this is being graded with a blue label.
Not only a blue label, but a 10.
A blue label 10.
Yes, I cannot understand. Now, CGC has a history of these kind of, let's say, call them promotional
bad ideas.
Yes, bad ideas. The invisible copy.
Oh, I'm just saying, I was making a bad pun about CGC's bad ideas.
And the bad idea book, they graded every grade between zero 0.5 all the way up to 10. And it wasn't, it's just an arbitrary grade they assign. And to me, it cheapened the value of CGC's grading. And I think this book also has that potential of really just putting a black eye in CGC's column in terms of just being able to grade books.
I don't know, Richard. After the blowback that they got from the bad idea thing, I think they learned their lesson. They're not going to do stupid stuff like this again. Oh,
No,
oh,
to me, this is more of a this is the marketing department at CGC talking, not the grading arm of the company. And yeah, to me, it's a terrible it's a terrible smell that it's just associated with CGC's grading. And not only that, now there's rumors that Marvel did not approve this variant. So basically, Clayton Crane and Black Flag just took upon themselves to make 750 copies of this particular variant without Marvel's approval.
there's all sorts of social media rumors and innuendo flying around about this whole thing. We weren't there. We don't know. Here, we're going to speak to what we know, and that is CGC graded this book. Here's the census. I'm going to bring it up right now on the screen. There are multiple copies graded already, so that is a fact. That all the other stuff we don't know. We don't know any of that, so we're not talking about it. So you can try to goad us into it all you want. We're not going to talk about it. But this entire thing is a huge dumpster fire of fail.
Yeah, no one wins in this whole system or this whole situation.
This just makes me more and more secure in my choice and your choice as well, even though you bought one, to avoid most modern books in exchange for good old bronze, silver, and gold.
Okay, the only reason
we all know why you bought it.
It's if it had been Cap, would you have bought it?
No. No. However, there's a lot more Cap out there for me.
That's true.
Oh, I get it. I get why you bought it. Am I severely disappointed in you? Absolutely.
Hey, it was, it's FOMO definitely did strike. A friend of this show, Taj, reached out to me and told me, Taj Lawson, that it was available.
But you didn't know everything else about it.
I didn't know. No,
yeah.
I didn't know that. It was at the time it was being sold on Whatnot.
Oh, is that where you bought it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We said we weren't going to talk about that, so let's not talk about it.
Okay.
No, I mean, you bought it from. Did you buy it from a certain person on Whatnot?
No, I did not. I bought it from a seller I've never seen before. So, yeah.
Did they have a stack of them or just one?
No. Okay, so here's the story. He had one copy that he was giving away, and so he had the giveaway, and he was okay. So then he had a copy for sale, and the copy for sale, I won that bid at $220. And then he had another giveaway that he wasn't showing people, and he was all the time he's trying to he's being the hawker and trying to bring people in to be able to have a bigger crowd. He gives away the second book, turns out to be another. So he had at least 3. Whatnot is not a market that I typically frequent. This was actually my first Whatnot purchase because I've just never used it as a purchasing vehicle. So I have to say the transaction went pretty smoothly. I'm kind of impressed with that part of it, but it is definitely a carny atmosphere when you go on Whatnot.
Let's just take a second for the people that are on YouTube. Richard and I, let's look in the middle here where this book is between us. Let's just look at this thing, shall we? It's gorgeous.
No, it's not. It's not an attractive book. If it hadn't been Miles and it hadn't been UF4, I would have passed this by easily. But I have to have all the Miles covers for UF4. It's just
I hear you.
No CD part of my being that has to be complete. So $220 was a fair price to pay to not worry about it anymore.
Well, this book brings up a really good topic because It's something that we've dealt with the past 2 years on this show, and I think you're going to deal with it again, and that is comic book variant covers and whether they're worth it or not. Do you think this one's going to hold its value at 220, Richard?
Probably not. No, the odds are against it, to be honest with you.
Well, let's talk about it. You've got some notes here. First of all, I think, let's just start from scratch. Let's explain what we mean by variant covers, because we're not talking about 35-cent variant covers that, back in the day when they were test pricing Marvel comics and they were trying to see if the market could tolerate a 5-cent increase. And so they did a certain percentage of the run with a different price. We're talking about completely different covers and things like that.
Right. Cover only. I mean, the contents of the book does not vary. It's just the outer wrap, which is the cover, is different for that particular book. So manufacturers, have a history of, at least Marvel and DC, of putting out a cover A and a cover B of a book. They do that, I think, because it promotes the book, and collectors want to collect all the copies, so they'll buy one of each. But sometimes they'll do a cover C and then a cover D, and etc.
Well, it works because it's really done to boost orders for a book. If a retailer is normally ordering 100 copies of something, but they know if they order 200 copies, they're going to get this book that they can then take to either a trusted, loyal customer and do a markup on it, or take it to eBay or whatnot and get a huge markup on it. They're going to do it.
Well, those are ratio.
Ratio.
Yeah,
we'll get to those for sure.
So they also have Walmart as a vehicle for putting out variants. The Walmart variants are sometimes some very interesting covers, and sometimes they're just variants of the original cover, and they may change a color here, a color there. It depends. Then you have store variants. A store can decide to put out a version of a issue of a comic, let's say 1,000 copies, or seems to be around what the people do, and they can sell it through their store. Now, when that 1,000 runs out, Marvel can't print another print run. It's up to the store to do it. So, store variants have a nasty pattern recently of putting out a book. They do this all the time now. Well, they'll have a trade dress version of the book, and then they'll also do a version, or a version without the trade dress of the book. And you can buy the trade dress version for $15, but you can only buy the version if you buy the trade dress and the version together for $50. And that is a horrible pattern, I think, because it automatically lessens the value of that version, because there's a version, the trade dress that's out that looks almost identical to it. And I think this just waters down the value of the book. So when I see these new books that are paired like that, I'm almost always pass on them.
What do you think holds value here in this area? Which type of variant holds its value?
It takes a special sauce, really. I mean, ratio variants can go for more money typically, but they don't necessarily hold value. To me, for ratio variants to really hold, or any variant, it has to be of a significant character or a significant event, and it has to be scarcity to it. I mean, if you have Superman #1 and there are 1.2 million copies of it out there, I don't care what your variants are going to be, they're not going to have any significant value, and we've seen that with that particular book. And sometimes it's about the cover itself. One of my favorite variants is Legion of Superheroes #23, the beautiful Adam Hughes variant. We've got Supergirl sitting on a meteor as it's coming down. Yeah. That variant is fairly scarce, and it's just a gorgeous cover on top of that. And I think collectors want to have it a part of their collection, and that drives up demand for it.
I think it's even more simple. I think it's the character featured, the artist drawing that character featured, and the quality of that art. Your Precious Young Allies #6, Art Adams Firestar cover. I mean, look at it. Why? That's beautiful. That recent Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy cover, or was it Catwoman and Harley
Harley, right?
with the drink with the cocktail. That I think is got legs. But Super Twink number 6, 1 in 25 variant. No one cares. No one cares.
Right.
We've seen this with 8 billion genies, the glitter kitty variant or
Mhm.
the Mario variant. Those are cool looking, and they're genuinely get people excited. I think the variant of the month, if just for ordering 25 copies of Eternals number 14, who cares?
Yeah, and things like Stray Dogs had so many different copies of variant covers, and that's another trend. You when you have literally 80 different covers for Detective Comics 1000, it cheapens the overall value of the book. I mean, it's just no way. No one's going to collect all 80 covers. Well, most people won't. I won't say no one.
Oh, they're counting on you.
So yeah, variants. I think it takes that special sauce. It takes that special quality to the books for it to be able to retain value. Otherwise, it will sink in value. I'm not going to say it's going to drop down to a cover level, but it's just not going to retain value.
You have something in your notes, and I'm going to give you credit for it. In fact, you should read it. Your last bullet point, because I think it's brilliant. You summed it up. It's chef's kiss. You summed it up brilliant.
Yes, for every Clone Wars #1 variant, you have 100 Venom 25s.
Say it again for the kids in the back.
For every Clone Wars variant, you have 100 Venom 25s.
Sitting in your long box.
Yep.
Gathering dust.
Yep.
Crossing your fingers for 30 years from now when your kids are ready to go buy their own houses for $17 million starting price back then.
Yeah. For the most part, I don't buy variants the week they come out. I will give them time to settle because it's much easier to spend a little bit more for a variant that you really is really appreciating in value than to buy 15, 20 variants when they come out and then hoping one of them is going to be cream of the crop.
What do you guys think? What are your favorite variant covers? What do you think is going to hold its value? Are you still doing this variant thing? Have you given up like me? Are you backsliding like Richard, leaving church at 1 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon and going right to Bo's Tavern?
Oh, how did you know?
I'm just gonna tease you. This and the talk about the Ultimate Fallout C2E2 thing and Instagram all week. I want to take a minute here, okay? Richard and I, your uncles. We care about you. We're your older uncles. And we want to put our arms around you, comic community, and say, it's funny books, guys. Settle down.
Good point. IG has gotten very heated in the past couple of days, and I think personalities are. I think people need to step back, like John says, and just realize that this is a hobby. This is something that we do for fun. And while I know people feel slighted or taken advantage of in some cases, it's just comic books. It really is.
I'm guilty. I'm guilty of it. You guys know we put a lot into this show on our own dime and our own time and our own resources. And we sit there and we see people take segments wholesale away that we created. We see people take our thumbnail style and even copy our font, for God's sake. And it's really easy to get worked up about it. But then I always rant to myself, and then I take a step back and I take a breath and I say, it's a compliment. We're doing this for fun. It's not our living. I think when it becomes your living, that's when it becomes a little desperate and you're really scrambling and trying to do stuff like we see out there.
Yeah.
And we don't want to be those people.
No. I want to enjoy what I'm doing. I enjoy spending an hour with you every week. So this is the level of stress that I'm happy with.
Yeah, exactly. We've been doing it for longer than, wait for it, 25 years. Maybe we'll be doing this show 25 years from now. That's a 25-year rule. I picked this one for you, Richard. This is especially for you. It is Lady Rawhide #4 from Topps Comics. I think it's one of the last Topps comics ever published. Topps, you love them. You used to put their cards in your bicycle spokes when you used to ride your bike around the neighborhood in the 70s, so it would go and sound like an engine. And they had a comic book division in the 90s. This Lady Rawhide, of course, was a spinoff of their Zorro series released near the height of the bad girl craze in the 90s. Remember when Wonder Woman was wearing bike shorts and a short crop leather jacket? Because she was a bad girl all of a sudden. Drawn by Mike Deodato. Spectacular art on this from the Good Girl art mainstay Esteban Maroto, who drew Vampirella back in the 70s and 80s, I believe. Drew Satana for Marvel. This was the second to last issue of Lady Rawhide. I was shocked to find out this was written by Don McGregor, who wrote Black Panther and Jungle Action in the 70s and Killraven, War of the Worlds.
Wow.
Was he slumming? Was it good? You guys tell me. I've never read this book.
Now, this series for me is famous because of the Adam Hughes.
Yeah. Why do you like this cover, Richard?
Gee, I don't know.
This series, strangely enough, was reprinted just 2 years later by Image Comics in a series retitled Zorro's Lady Rawhide, Other People's Blood. I guess maybe the print runs were so low and they thought they could, reach a wider audience. I'm not sure why Image reprinted this just a scant 2 years after it was originally released. Maybe one of you out there knows and could tell us. As far as the original Lady Rawhide #4, you can grab it on eBay for about $5-6. There are no slabs out there, so you can be the first. Tell your friends. Are you ready for your underrated book of the week, Richard?
Yes, my underrated book of this week is Batman Beyond #6. This is the 1999 series. First appearance of a villain called Ink. Major Batman Beyond villain, according to the TV show. If you watch the TV show, which I was a huge fan of, it's an underrated series, in my opinion. I think the TV show has an opportunity to really be something in the DCEU if they decide to use these, either do a live action version of it or do another animated movie. Raws for this book only go for $40 to $50 on eBay. And I'm always one who's looking for the book that is significant but not necessarily popular today. And I think this is an example of that, where you've got a first appearance of a major villain, and the value of it is still in a reasonable range. There are 345 of this book on the census, 161 are 9.8s. The GPA average for 90 days is $331, but the last sale was only 236, and I think that's a steal. This is one of those books, and I think this is the last book of this limited series. There were 6 issues. I think all of these books portray important characters in the Batman Beyond universe, and they're all first appearances, and I think they're all a great buy. So I'm focusing on issue #6 here because I think Ink is a interesting character that has a lot of potential to be used in some upcoming property. But the other ones that are a part of this are also good. So if you see this series, pick up any copy you may come across.
I have to give them kudos for the name Ink. It's spelled INQUE and pronounced Ink, and I just think that's original. It's hard to come up with an original villain name these days.
Yeah, no, and she's a great villain. I don't know if you've watched the series, but she's in a number of episodes of the TV show, and just a great villain. It's typical flawed character,
right?
But
it's a brilliant name. It does everything a name should for a character. It's evocative. It's female the way it's spelled. It's sort of like sophisticated and très franche. It's cool.
I agree totally.
Kudos, Inc. My underrated book of the week is another female character. Her debut in Action Comics number 521. The first appearance. Wait, wait. Breaking news. It's Tinkerballs, everybody. Hold her up. Let's see. Oh, she'll hold him up. Oh my goodness. Look at how big he is now.
He's huge.
Holy moly.
And he's
Look at
pouring
that.
into the mic.
All
right,
so we interrupted this underrated book of the week to bring you your kitten break.
Sorry, he was
no, never apologize for Tinkerballs. Action Comics 521, the first appearance of the Vixen. Vixen was originally slated to have her own title, which would have been one of the first titles headlined by an African-American woman. However, it fell victim to the DC implosion in 1978. The first issue was drawn and completed and everything, and they pulled her off the schedule. And she sat in limbo until Action Comics number 521, when she teamed up with Super Duper Duper Man and made her debut. She was featured in the CW's Arrowverse TV shows.
That's too bad.
I know, poor thing. That should be a good thing. It's not. She was part of the ill-fated Justice League of Detroit era with Vibe and Steel and Gypsy. Thankfully, kind of like Gina Gershon and Showgirl, she's the only person that survived unscathed. Maybe Kyle MacLachlan survived unscathed from Showgirls as well. And so did Vixen from JLA Detroit. Everybody else in JLA Detroit really just, just an absolutely underrated book featuring a long-term character in the DC universe, part of the Suicide Squad for a long time in that John Ostrander run. I say underrated because we never talk about it, but it does sell for a pretty penny. A CGC 9.8 sold last month for $553.
Wow.
Yeah, there are 33 9.8s and 71 9.6s in the census. And this is one of those books that I never see in the wild. I don't run across it. Of course, I'm not digging through Action Comics in the bins. I never see it on a wall at a show. I just have no day-to-day experience with this book, and I'm actually going to start keeping an eye out for it.
Yeah, a 9.8 at over $500. That's definitely worth looking for.
That's not a lot. 33 9.8s on the census from a book that in 1979, I think when this came out, 80, was selling a good 300,000 copies at the time. So that's a low census number in comparison. So good on you, Vixen. All right. That is going to do it. Everybody say goodbye to Tinkerballs. Bye, Tinkerball. Oh, your headphone cord is delicious. Then make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Bronze and Modern Gods. Richard, if they like this video, what can they do for us?
They can like and subscribe. Please do.
Tell a friend. Tell your mom. We will catch you next time.
Everybody stay safe.